I can't believe I'm sitting in space jail with you, of all people. Ceres dropped her head into her hands. You knew it was a risk when you settled on Earth. What are you talking about? Earth is a Class 5 planet. Class 5? Yeah, capable of sentience, potentially able to reach the stars one day. Do not interfere. She twisted her head to look at him without lifting it from her hands. What? His eyebrows drew together. Interacting with Earth is forbidden. I live there! Which is forbidden. What are they going to do? Arrest all the humans? He tilted his head. No, they're indigenous. She jerked upright. Did you just say they? Obviously. You're telling me you're not human? Her hands shook in the cuffs that had been clamped around her wrists. Neither are you. What? She shrieked. Shh! You'll attract the guards. Shuttle guards are the worst. He shot a dirty look at the clear front of the cell. Beyond it lay another steel-grey room, almost the exact mirror of the cell, except that where the cell had a bench and cuffs, the room beyond had the door to the rest of the ship. Just Ceres' luck that she had bumped into Brad from work at the coffee shop where she worked on her coding skills. He had engaged her in small talk. Ceres hated small talk. Next thing she knew, they were being arrested by odd-looking people and beamed aboard a spaceship. She hadn't even believed in aliens. Come on, Ceres, you can drop the act. They're not going to believe you when you go before the board. Ceres tried to keep the whimper out of her voice. What board? Brad jerked away from her. You don't know about the board? How would I? Were you born on Earth? That's what my birth certificate says. Those are easily faked. I don't... You thought I wasn't human? Brad shrugged. You are way too calm for a man in space jail. Not my first time interacting with the First Contact control team. Ceres pulled at anger to protect her from the fear. I blame you for all of this. She gestured around with both hands, as far as the cuffs would allow. Brad shrugged again. What's going to happen then, since you've done this before? Anywhere from a fine to jail time to... If you are human, they just initiated first contact. That's kind of ironic. But if you are human, you'll probably be relocated or exterminated. Exterminated? You mean killed? Once again, Brad shrugged. Ceres desperately clung to her anger, trying to batter away the fear that came from Brad's words. Why did it have to be him? He was the laziest and most irritating person at her office. He always talked like he and Ceres had some kind of inside joke. She supposed now it was that he had thought she was an alien like him. Brad from work was an alien! Ceres looked down at the cuffs, cream plastic-looking things with blue light shining onto the orange cardigan she'd decided upon that morning for a pop of colour. As the tears welled in her eyes, Ceres dropped her head back into her hands and sobbed. Commotion lifted Ceres' tear-stained face. Uniformed creatures rushed into the room on the other side of the cell window, their weapons held up and aimed at Ceres. Her lip trembled. You! A shockingly patterned one with no discernible eyes snapped. What are you doing? Ceres sniffed. She's crying, you ignorance. What is crying? Ceres lifted both cuffed hands to wipe at the tears on her face. No! A very human-looking alien stepped forward. They clapped their hands together and exhaled slowly when Ceres froze without touching her face. What is the chemical makeup of this crying? It depends on the emotion, Brad muttered. The human alien turned displeased eyes on Brad. Oh, it's you. Yeah, Corporal. And you picked up a human. He pumped his eyebrows at the alien. The corporal let out a very inhuman groan, wiping a hand down their face. You're a human caught in the arrest. Ceres nodded. I knew I shouldn't have let the recruits handle this. They centered their eyes on Ceres. Okay. Do you have any particular attachment to Earth? What kind of a question is that? Brad snapped. If you think I won't gag you, you're wrong. Corporal spat back. They turned to Ceres again. Any family, friends, job you love? Some kind of pet? Ceres shook her head. The work she'd been doing with Brad was supposed to be a temp job. Her dream was to write computer software, thus the coding weekends. Since her job had been supposed to be temporary, so had her living situation, and it seemed foolish to build up a life only to leave it when something better came along. That's good. The corporal sat on the floor in front of the cell, waving away the other uniformed aliens. I need you to tell me everything you can about your species' living situation and your own personal preferences and skills. Why? Ceres managed. Because how else will I find you a suitable home in the galaxy? You're not going to exterminate me? The corporal shot a dirty look at Brad. You're not freaking out too badly. You're not desperate to return home. And you handled looking at Nuatia perfectly fine. You what? Nuatia. The one that looks like a butterfly, Brad clarified. Wiping her face on her shoulders as best she could, Ceres answered the questions posed to her by the corporal. Eventually the alien smiled, revealing supremely inhuman teeth. I could sponsor you to get a writing engineer certified. You could land a job in no time. They let the clear shield down and uncuffed Ceres. Rubbing her wrists, Ceres asked, What's writing engineer certified? It's like a human degree in coding, Brad humphed. Don't worry, Branadant. The corporal rolled their eyes, guiding Ceres from the cell, but leaving Brad where he was. You didn't reveal yourself to the Earthlings, so I'm trying to get you off with a warning. Do yourself a favor and get a real job, not just wandering the galaxy looking for whatever it is you're looking for. Purpose? Brad shot back. Ceres stood in the hall as the corporal paused in the doorway, looking back at Brad. What's her name Purpose now? I thought you still liked Sonda from Base 66. Alien voices are hard. But if you enjoyed this story, you can find more of my written work on nopoodles.wordpress.com or on the Read Aloud playlist right here on YouTube. And if you'd like to support what I do, there is a link to my Ko-fi account in the description below.